Welcome to the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment. Here to discuss some of the Tennessee Titans free agent and trade rumors that have been circulating around Nashville lately. And we're just going to have a discussion about the draft a little bit as well. Let's start with the Brandin Cooks rumors. Brandin Cooks of the New Orleans Saints has been attributed to the Tennessee Titans lately in some trade rumors. Now, the exact details on this potential trade are currently up in the air. There is one scenario where the Titans just give up the 18th pick overall. Now, to that, I just say no, okay? First of all, don't do it, and I highly doubt John Robinson would do it, okay? This doesn't make very much sense. Although Brandin Cooks, as a player, you could look at and say he's worth a first-round pick. Yeah, that's fine. Is he worth a first-round pick in this draft? I'm not sure. Because even at 18, you can pick O.J. Howard. O.J. Howard could go on to be one of the top 5 tight ends of all time. Okay? So to me, in this draft, you can't give up the 18th pick. If you look at the other potential options, now, there's a scenario where the Titans trade down from number 5 to number 11. The Saints obviously move up, and the Saints could give the Titans maybe a third-round pick, or the Titans give the Saints a third-round pick, or, some extra pick, either third or fourth round being moved around there. I would be much more down for that. Would I do it? That one I might. Let's say it's the Titans giving up a third-round pick in that scenario. It would have to be that second or third-round pick. The third-round pick that we currently own from the Los Angeles Rams. If we move down to 11, give up that third-round pick, I think that would be worth it, because I think Brandin Cooks is a guy that I think would even have success here. And let's just talk about him as a player real quick. Now, this is a guy that had over 1,100 yards this season, okay, finished top 10 in receiving yards, really did a very good job being a deep threat for the New Orleans Saints. And I see some people saying, well, he's not a wide receiver one. You guys need to calm down and shut up, okay? Because first of all, a lot of you guys, your definition of a wide receiver one, I don't even know what kind of definition it is. You keep saying a guy that can win consistently, will do this and that, and basically go ahead and count your wide receiver one. You're gonna count about like 8. Okay, you're gonna count like Julio Jones, Antonio Brown, maybe some other guys, and that's it. A wide receiver one, to me, is simply this. Let's rank the 32 wide receivers in the NFL, the top 32. Are you in it? To me, Brandin Cooks is, okay? He's a guy that, to me, is like a top 20 wide receiver in the NFL, and he's a guy that is consistent, okay, and not as consistent as he could be. The Saints really look to get Michael Thomas involved and Kobe Fleener involved and a bunch of people involved. He only accounted for, let's say, 20 to 25% of the Saints' passing offense. For the Titans, he could account for like 30% of our passing offense, which could be a little bit of an increase of production, and you would see him having more of an impact for our football team. You look at him as a player, he catches a lot of the targets that are thrown his way. He has good hands, great speed, obviously, and I think he's even a little underutilized in New Orleans. I know that's surprising to say, but I think that's actually true. I think he'd have great success here. And you look at the wide receivers that have been winning Super Bowls, you don't need that wide receiver one you guys are thinking of. Okay, you don't need that big, tall, strong wide receiver Jerry Rice, Julio. You don't need that. You know what you need? A Julian Edelman. You know what you need? An Anquan Bolden of the Baltimore Ravens at the time. You need a Victor Cruz of the New York Giants at the time. You need a guy that's just going to go out there, run consistent routes, and do well for you, and ultimately show up there when you need him in the Super Bowl. All right? That's all you need. You don't need that big, brooding, tall wide receiver one that a lot of you guys are thinking of when you say this wide receiver one. I like Brandin Cooks, and if it's that trade down, I would like it. Let's say this scenario. I think this could be possible. So the Titans give up the 18th pick. The Saints give the Titans a second-round pick, and the Titans give the Saints a fourth-round pick. Some sort of combination like that. John Robinson, as we've seen, can be very creative when coming up with these trades. A bunch of picks involved, so we probably won't know the exact trade until it happens. My prediction right now is that I think this thing might actually happen. We've heard for the past couple of days now the Titans are the front runner for this possible trade. John Robinson loves to make trades, as we have seen, and I think it's going to happen probably that first day of free agency. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I remember Jimmy Graham got traded at that time, like a couple years ago. As soon as free agency hit, boom, Jimmy Graham traded, and no one even saw that one coming. And another thing, real quick, I've seen a lot of people question why the Saints would want to move Brandin Cooks. Why would they want to move Jimmy Graham? I don't know. They say they want to rebuild their offensive line and their defense with the draft. Okay, fine. It's the same thing. Brandin Cooks has expressed some discomfort in the offense. That he get some more targets and whatnot, catches and whatnot. I think that's it. I don't think it's anything more than that. Don't think that they know something that we don't. No, Brandin Cooks can play, and I think it'd be good for us. He would be our Julian Edelman. He would be our consistent wide receiver that when the Super Bowl comes around, he would be around and he could make some freaking plays for our freaking football team. I like Brandin Cooks. We move on to Alshon Jeffrey. Okay, this is now the current rumor. The Titans are going to go out to Alshon Jeffrey, and I'm surprised that John Robinson would make this move. Now, how do I feel about it? Now, if I was the GM, I wouldn't do it. Let me just say that outright. Although I do believe the Titans should spend money this year, okay, to try to become that Super Bowl contender, Alshon Jeffrey is a guy that if you're telling me what are the chances Alshon Jeffrey is going to play in the Super Bowl, I'm only telling you 60%. And that concerns me, okay? He hasn't played 16 games the past 2 seasons. He hasn't eclipsed 1,000 yards the past 2 seasons. He had a PED suspension at the end of the 2016 NFL season. He's unreliable. He'll have great games, fantastic plays, fantastic deep ball, 50-50 ball catches in the air. He'll be fantastic in that aspect. But he will have plays, he will have days, he will have games that he misses, okay? And he won't show up, and it's going to affect you in terms of being that reliable Super Bowl contender. If you predicate and you plan your whole offense around Alshon Jeffrey, and he's missing the Super Bowl or he's missing the AFC wildcard game, what are you going to do? Are you ready to adjust? Are you ready to be adaptable in that scenario because you just predicated your whole offense around Alshon Jeffrey? To me, I would prefer to predicate my whole offense around someone else. But if they sign him, I kind of like it. Why? Because he has a big upside, as we've seen, and perhaps he'll figure it out. And I'm sick of us just saving money for, to me, no reason. We don't have any big free agents in the next 3 years. Taylor Lewan has a 5th-year option, obviously. Hopefully you know that. Marcus Mariota as well has a 5th-year option. There's not one free agent that I give a damn about until like 2020. Okay, why the hell are we worried about our salary cap? I mean, we can spend some money. Let's spend some freaking money. There's no reason to me to be afraid about the salary cap. So I would be okay with it. I'd probably give the signing like a B. I just strive for A's as a GM if I was a GM. And I think there's a little too much risk because he will be paid more than $10 million per year. Again, the good thing for us, though, is that it doesn't matter. You can pay him 3 years, like, $12 million per year. That 4th year, 5th year, not guaranteed, cut him. Because at that point, then the salary cap will be a little bit of an issue, but you can moved on, that's it. So I think he'd be harmless. He could fit under a salary cap, but he would be unreliable. He would have great games, but he would piss you off, and he may not show up when you need him too most. We look at Terrell Pryor. I like Terrell Pryor, a guy that played wide receiver really full-time for the first time and had over 1,000 yards. He's 27 years old, still a lot of upside here, and he's pretty consistent, man. He played, I want to say, like at least 14 games this year, maybe even played all 16, over 1,000 yards, and a guy that, yes, he's not as good as Alshon Jeffrey, but I want reliable guys. I want guys on the outside who are reliable, who I know will show up. He gives us that 4.3 speed, can beat some quarterbacks on the outside, a guy that to me really helped this Browns offense this year despite the putrid play at quarterback. We all know that to be true at least. So, I mean, come on. I like Terrell Pryor, and I think you could sign him for probably $4 to $5 million, probably like $3 or $4 million less per year than Alshon Jeffrey. That would be my prediction there. So I would prefer signing Pryor over Jeffrey. I know, again, he's not that wide receiver one. Jeffrey's that wide receiver one that everyone loves, and Pryor isn't. I like that not wide receiver one in this case because I think Pryor is going to be more consistent for us, and I think that would prove to be better for us. We look at Dre Kirkpatrick of the Cincinnati Bengals. He's been attributed to the Tennessee Titans lately in some trade rumors, and I like Dre. He's a guy that played well in 2016, had struggles in 2015, and played pretty well in 2014. So it's a little up and down, but he has, to me, held that position well for the Cincinnati Bengals. But I think if you sign him, he's only going to be a number 2 corner for you. He's not a number 1 corner. The number 1 corners, to me, available in this free agency period is AJ Boye, Logan Ryan, and Stephon Gilmore. I want one of these guys, period. If I'm John Robinson, I'm making it happen. I know Gilmore did not have the best 2016 campaign, but I've seen him play at a high level. I really liked him coming out of South Carolina a number of years ago, back in the 2012 draft. So I like Gilmore. I really do. Claiborne and Prince Amukamara are on the edge. Amukamara is not really a number 1, but he's good. And Claiborne can be a number 1, but this year could have been a one-hit wonder. But to me, if you really want a cornerback, and God knows we need one, you got to go after, to me, Logan Ryan, AJ Boye, and Stephon Gilmore. I think you got to get one. Not only just go after, get one, right? We have $61 million in cap room. Let's spend some freaking money and let's get one of these guys. And speaking of money, let's spend some money on Dante Hightower. Let's spend some money on Calais Campbell. I know we have Daquan Jones. If Calais Campbell is walking in the door, Daquan Jones, go to the bench, have a good time on the bench, drinking little Gatorade cups, okay? Oh, Dante Hightower is available? Oh, sorry, Wesley Woodyard, get out. Dante Hightower is here now, right? You have to make upgrades. Guys, we're trying to be a Super Bowl contender next year. And again, everyone thinks this is so ridiculous. How could you say that the Titans are going to be Super Bowl contenders next year? I'm not saying they're going to be, but how could you say it's even possible? Which is ridiculous because, guys, pretty much anything's statistically possible. You can prove it. But anyway, quantum physics. Anyway, we have, if you look at this football team, we are on a similar trajectory as the Oakland Raiders last year, and actually a better trajectory because the Raiders went from 3-13 to 7-9 to what they finished with 11-5 or 12-4 this year. We went from 3-13 to 9-7. We are on a faster train than the Raiders were. And you look at these ascending teams in the NFL, they are always ready to win a Super Bowl at least 1 or 2 years before anyone thinks they are. When the Seahawks ascended with Russell Wilson, they were ready 1 or 2 years before everyone thought they would be. Same goes with the 49ers. Same goes with the Cowboys this year. Same goes with the Falcons this year. It always happens that way. So don't tell me it's not possible. You can predict that it's not going to happen. I'm predicting it's not going to happen. Right now, I'm going with the safe 10-6 prediction for next season. But you need to be prepared for that 12-4. You need to be prepared for that 13-3. And you need to set up this roster so that you can get there. And when you get there, you can win. Because if you get to the Super Bowl, let's say you go on a miracle Super Bowl run, let's win one, right? Because I don't want to be the Falcons or even worse, the 1999 Tennessee Titans, right? Because that team was ascending. They ascended before anyone thought they would. They got to a Super Bowl and they failed, unfortunately, but it's true. And what did everyone think? Oh, it's okay because they'll get back. We never got back. If you're gonna get there, win, leave. That's the move. That should be our move, and I want that to be our move. So, to me, sign free agents, make the moves, get the job done. I want Calais Campbell. I want these guys. I want to spend money. Again, there's not one free agent that you look at and you say, man, this guy is so integral to our football team for the next 2 years. I need to check exactly, but I think it's like 2 or 3 years. I know it's at least 2 years, right? Taylor Lewan will not be a free agent until, let's count, 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, okay? 2019, the summer of 2019 will be when this March of 2019 will be Taylor Lewan's free agent year. That's when you need to re-sign somebody. Outside of him, there's nobody. I know people like Avery Williamson, but I'm not counting him. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, that to me is my current philosophy on this. And I've discussed this ad nauseum, so I will not discuss it any further. So, one more thing, O.J. Howard. I want to talk about O.J. Howard, and you've seen a lot of mock drafts having O.J. Howard going to the Tennessee Titans at the 18th pick. I've seen a lot of people disagreeing with this, and initially I did too. But guys, I like O.J. Howard. I've seen him at the Combine now, and I've seen him at the Senior Bowl practices. I've seen him on film. This guy could be one of the best tight ends ever. I'm going on the record. I think O.J. Howard could be one of the best tight ends ever. Athletic freak, ran a 4.5 140 at the combine, and he was really underutilized at Alabama because he just had terrible quarterback play in Jalen Hurts and Jacob Coker. And I know everyone likes Jalen Hurts. He's pretty bad, okay? And I saw that on film. So, O.J. Howard, man, at 18, I think it could work. He and Delanie Walker, it would present a hell of a mismatch for a bunch of teams in the NFL. Not even the New England Patriots would know what to do facing O.J. Howard and Delanie Walker. And it could be a nice little unique identity for us, right? One of these like teams that, for the first time in NFL history, next to that Aaron Hernandez and Gronk that had two great tight ends next to each other playing, it would be great. I think it'd be great. I'd be really interested in that. And currently, that's my move. I want that. I want O.J. Howard at 18. I'm not sure if he's going to make it anymore. I think O.J. Howard is going to be freaking good. 1,000-yard receiver at the next level for, I think, years to come. I think he's going to be so good. O.J. Howard. So just start thinking about that, man. I think it could work. And I would want him... let's say we sign Terrell Pryor, Rashard Matthews, Tajay Sharp, and then inside O.J. Howard and Delanie Walker, we're moving the football. Oh, and by the way, we got two running backs in Derrick Henry and DeMarco Murray. Offense equals set. We move on to the defense and we fix that up. Super Bowl. To me. Honestly, to me. So you see this roster building, man. You see it forming. You see it happening. Again, we'll see if Mike Mularkey can be that close. That can lead us to the promised land. I know. Why am I bringing that up? I have nightmares over it, man. I had a nightmare last night about it. We were all the way into the AFC Championship game, and then Mike Mularkey, for some reason, decided to call a horrible timeout, giving the Patriots more time, and Tom Brady beat us. It was a horrible nightmare. I don't want it to happen. So, we'll see. But you see this roster forming. John Robinson, please, I beg you. Free agency begins March 9. Let's spend some money. Let's spend some money, dog. We can make some moves, dog. We can make some things happen. John Robinson, let's get it done. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on the upcoming free agency for the Tennessee Titans, on free agency, on trades, and all of that. We'll see what happens. Moves need to be made. Let's get some boys in here. Let's compete for a Super Bowl next year. Again, guys, we can do it. I know it sounds ridiculous to say, but it sounded ridiculous for the Atlanta Falcons. It sounded ridiculous for the Dallas Cowboys. It sounded ridiculous for the Oakland Raiders. It will sound ridiculous for the Tennessee Titans. And I'm out.